Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's very nice to be here, and I'm thankful that you are here in the mind of the INFJ. And that's me, Ashley. So, on this video right here, I want to talk about some of the issues that we have today. And if you don't know it or not, but a lot, I'm gonna say about like maybe like at least 80% of the issues and the problems that we have has to do with relationships. Yes, this one is gonna be underneath the series of giving peace and love, and it's underneath it's series number two. Sorry, I'm messing this up. Series number two, and it is regarding the issues, the problem solving that I want to solve some problems so you guys can have more peace. So with peace comes love, and then you can probably find the God within to help you get all your desires that you want. But first, we got to handle all these problems you guys have, and you guys to get peace. Okay, and once you get peace, all the other stuff will fall into place, especially once you start talking to that I am inside of you, and they teach you how to get the life that you want and the one that you deserve, and you are worthy of that. Today, let's go with the first issue I want to talk about. It's going to be relationship. Relationships going to have a lot of relationships, but this relationship that I want to talk to you about today is going to be the relationship with yourself. So, I'm going to start off this by saying to you, a lot of the issues that coming into your life is coming to your life because the way you talk to yourself. Now, believe it or not, I know you guys want to blame other people for putting, that credit in your head. And you got a valid point. Yes, I say that. But at some point in time, you have to take care of that yourself. Your parents was human just like you, and the mistakes they made was their mistakes. And I'm quite sure with your kids, you're gonna make some mistakes, and they're gonna also have the credit in their head. So you're gonna want your kids to forgive you, and maybe you need to start doing some forgiveness, okay? But yes, it is the way that you're talking to yourself, and you probably aren't even realizing that you're talking to yourself like that. I remember back in the day, I couldn't even stand being alone for a long period of time because my thoughts would eat me up. I stayed in and out of depression. It's just the way that I was talking to myself. And one time I had this job, and I was telling somebody regarding it, and she was like, "Well, who voice is that? That's in your head." And I had to think about it and realize that voice was not my voice. And at some point in time, because it didn't just go away once I realized that it's not my voice. It didn't go away when I, started to think that maybe I shouldn't listen to the voice. It just got louder and louder. I had to confront the voice. Actually, at one time I was bawling, over something. Could be a relationship. Relationships always had me bawling. But then I heard the voice, and it was just screaming at me, and I had to tell it to pretty much stop. And the way that I say it is like, "Hey, you are in my head. You supposed to be nice to me. And if you don't be nice to me, I'm not gonna listen to you anymore. So shut up. You can do the same." But believe it or not, that worked for me. You might need a little bit more, or you might even need, a therapist or whatnot. But that worked for me. Just confronting that critic in my head. And then, I started having other things to happen good for me to where I could dig deep into what's going on in my head, and kind of figure it out. The thing is that it was a blueprint. Blueprint. Like the blueprint of the houses, they always write it out before they start to build it. In your life, there's a blueprint that you are supposed to be following. Yeah. And when you was a young child, you made that blueprint based off of what was going on in your reality at that time. And a lot of times it was not good. And I think I have talked about this before, but it's gonna get a little bit of deeper. I have a channel. This is my channel, and you might can find this somewhere else. And I'm sorry if I am regurgitating it to you again, but it's gonna get just a little bit different because once you realize there's a blueprint, you could change it. Only you could change it, and I think you owe it to yourself to do so. Because not only do you have this blueprint that keeps you having all these issues, you also have desires, don't you? Yeah. Do you ever wonder where these desires come from? You know, you probably been having problems like pretty much your whole life, and all of you got these desires. And you might wonder yourself, why would somebody like me who's going through all of these issues have desires? Shouldn't I just try to fix all these issues? The desires are given to you by the God inside. Your desires is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to complete them. You're supposed to bring that into fruition. And you can do it with God's help. Yes, He wants to help you. And that's something that you should look into. Let me tell you about my blueprint. And I won't be long because this is already at 6 minutes. I know you get a little antsy. I'm just kidding. Okay, so my blueprint was, in relationships, I always have two. I used to always have two kind of relationships, and based off the way that I was treated when I was younger, I never got what these women talking about these good guys. Never had good guys come into my world. You know, and somebody say you might didn't think you were worthy, or whatever. I wanted it, and I should better get it, and I will. But the thing is that the two guys that I always knew I'm gonna get would be the first one. I get this one here the least though. The one that always wanted me to show them that I was worthy of them, show them that I deserve their love, you know. Those was right there. I normally get that one. When I got tired of it, I'll leave. Or, they'll leave when I stop trying to impress them. They'll leave. And then I had this other one type that's, I usually get them all the time. In fact, there was a point in my life, about like a year or two, where I constantly just got this type right here. And that's the one that would come into my world, probably take me out once or twice, and realize how much they really adored me. And they would tell me all this stuff about how I could complete them and how they never met anybody like me. Yeah, it was a bunch of narcissists. Yeah, I get a lot of bunch of narcissists. I'm an empath and all that. And that's what we fight all the time, bumping heads with narcissists. But the thing is that, as soon as they tell me how much they adore me and do all the love, but they were ghosts. They just ghost me. And I'd be like, that didn't make any sense to me at all until I started digging into it. Now, my mother was the one who kept making me prove to her that I deserve the love that a child should deserve, And that's the first type I was talking about. I had to jump through hoops to get her to smile, and her smiles didn't last very long. Hey, it was my dad. That second one was my dad. See, my dad, when I was a baby, he really adored me. But then he did leave. And then when he left, he'll come back, show me love, kisses and stuff. Daddy loves you. Yes, and daddy gonna do this and daddy gonna do that. And he'll leave again. And that's to number two. So I had to realize, my pattern is I am pretty much really reliving my childhood and trying to actually beat it, as accomplish, go past it, get what I desired when I was a child. But now I have to realize that I have to let that go and just wait for the right one. And by waiting for the right one, I mean the one that God sent to you. There won't be any of those issues when God sent it to you. And most of the time when God sent it to you, there's a purpose behind it. So it don't always last forever. It's for you guys to be together to solve that purpose. But you guys should look at your blueprint. Yeah, pay attention to what it is. Look at it. It keep going over and over again until you beat that. Until you beat it. You know, you get the lesson and you're moving on. You're gonna keep getting over and over again. All right, that is it for today, and I want to thank you very much for listening. And I hope that you got what you need today. Have a great one. Don't be looking at my nose. Is there something in my nose? Hmm?